Thank you, John, for that very kind introduction. Congratulations to the class of 2012. You can clap for that. Congratulations to the class of 2012. And congratulations to all the moms, dads, aunts, uncles, babushkas, dedushkas, who helped us get us this class here today. I know the struggle. Yes, I do have 2 kids. I drive them all over town to their soccer games and piano lessons just like you do. I dog them every night to finish their homework and stop toggling between a video of the French Revolution for school and Facebook, or getting these kids up every morning for the last 12 years to get to school on time. Well, except for those who I hear are suffering lately from something you all call the Pokrovsky effect. But for the rest of you, you did it, you got to school on time, and you're here. This is the payoff. You're all graduating today. So again, I'm very honored to be part of a very special day and a very special ceremony. But let me tell you honestly, I'm actually also a bit daunted by the task. First, I just learned last week that it's a custom here for the students to select one of their teachers to be the commencement speaker. So why am I here? Had I known about this tradition, because we have a tradition at Stanford as well, I would never have said to come here. And in fact, I'm a big believer in democracy, as John just said. So why don't we just start voting right now? Who should really give this speech? Who wants to vote for Mr. Spence? Any votes? Mrs. Nelson. Mr. A. All right. Looks like Mr. Spence won. Is Mr. Spence here? He must be. Please, the floor is yours. No, okay, all right. I won't put you on the spot, but it is a daunting task, and I'm honored that you chose me to be here, and as well as maybe next year we'll go back to that other tradition. But there's another reason why it's really hard, because I have participated in lots of graduations at Stanford, and I know the feeling, and it's of mixed emotions. They're pulling at us, both students and parents and friends on such days. Today is a day when feelings of accomplishment and pride must also compete with feelings of impending separation and uncertainty. For the parents here, I'm guessing anxiety about your babies growing up and going away are dancing on your last nerves right now. As a parent of an 8th grader here at AAS, I've already cried once or twice about thinking about this day and having him go off to school, and I still got 4 years to wait. I'm Irish, after all. That's what we do. But I'm guessing for the students, uncertainty might outrank separation anxiety. In fact, maybe separation is exactly what you want for this big emotional, the emotion that's overwhelming you right now. Did I choose the right college? Will I succeed there? Given the wobbly condition of the world economy, will there be any jobs available when I get out? I wanted to study philosophy, but maybe I should do the more pragmatic thing and major in business. And what if I get a terrible roommate? Yes, that can happen. And now let's really get honest with one another. Some of you are wondering right now, I'm guessing, the answer to this question. What will happen with my AAS relationships, romantic and otherwise? Well, I can't make predictions about the futures of high school sweethearts. Although I can tell you, for those of you who don't have one, the pickings are going to get a lot wider, and for me, they got a lot better in college. That's when I met my wife, and for 30 years, we've been happily together ever since, and I'm glad she's with me here today. So, there's hope. But I can make a few predictions about how to cope with this uncertainty. The bottom line is that you should relax. You are in good shape, and the parents, you also should relax. They are in good shape. You have tools, experiences, and relationships that put you way ahead of the pack in dealing with the next phase of your life. First, you've received a fantastic education here at AAS. This gives you an incredible advantage in college and beyond. You see, we live in a time when education is the key variable to determining success. The best predictor for income is education. The more education you have, the more money you are likely to make. Likewise, the most dynamic and innovative companies in the world are those run by the most educated people in the world. And finally, the most successful countries in the world are those with the best education systems. America's greatest assets for maintaining our world leadership are not our missiles, aircraft carriers, or natural resources, but they are Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, MIT, etc., etc. In that order, by the way. Second, you are living in an age when the best companies, the best universities, and the best countries are those that adapt and thrive globally. This is the global age. And to succeed internationally, the most valuable employees, professors, and political leaders are those that speak multiple languages, have lived in multiple countries, and have a feel for how people from other cultures interact with one another. In other words, that's you. You are exactly the kind of people that are going to succeed in the 21st century. This gives you an incredible leg up. Third, technological advances that have occurred in your lifetime not only lessen the pain of separation, but allow you to continue to leverage the unique set of relationships that you've developed here in Russia and at AAS. You have email, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, VKontakte, cell phones, live stream, Skype, and cheap airline tickets. You will never have to be disconnected from anyone. Maintaining your contacts with people all over the world will give you access to valuable information, allow you to maintain special relationships, and expose you to extraordinary opportunities. It's a tremendous advantage going forward, college and beyond. So these three factors, stellar education, international experience, and connectivity with people from around the world, give you unique skills to develop the next phase of your academic and then professional careers. Let me tell you, you're way ahead of the game compared to where I was when I was sitting up here in a much less fancy place, by the way, graduating from Bozeman Senior High in Montana a million years ago. At my stage in your life, I had the benefit of a pretty good education. And in fact, it was an inspirational debate teacher. So thank you for all the high school teachers who are here today, who really first stimulated my interest in Russia back in Bozeman. But it was nothing like what you've had here at AAS. Nothing. When I was your age, I hadn't even been to California, let alone to another country. I don't think I'd even met somebody from another country, except maybe a truck driver from Canada, who I poured coffee for when I was working at the Ramada Inn. And obviously, there was no Skype, Twitter, or even email. Yes, can you imagine life without Facebook or SMS? It did exist. So when I left Montana for college, it was a lot harder for me to keep contacts with my friends in high school and other people important to me in Montana. So again, you're way ahead of the game. With these advantages, however, come responsibilities. It's not fair to the rest of the world if you don't use these fantastic tools to do something great, or just do something. Just get out there and make your contribution, because you have a lot that has been given to you. It's time for you to give back. Let me warn you, it's not going to be easy. Not going to be a smooth ride. You have a lot of advantages, but you'll still face doubt, uncertainty, and struggle. And everyone's path is going to be different. Especially from this day forward, when you now gain, but also assume the burden of more independence, less structure, and greater choices, finding your way is going to become harder. So someone down the road a little bit, and who's somebody who gets the privilege to watch college students go through the next 4 years that you're about to experience at Stanford, let me give you 4 tips. First, follow your passions. Parents, let them follow their passions. Don't settle for whatever others tell you is practical or prudent. Do what you love. Doing what you love is actually the most practical and prudent path to success and happiness. That's because you have the best chance of success if you're doing what you love. It's just that simple. Practicing the piano or foul shots is hard work. Programming all day and all night is hard work. Writing, That's what I do for a living when I'm not an ambassador. That's hard work. You will only have the will to keep at these things if you love what you do. Many people are going to try to dissuade you otherwise. I'm warning you right now. It happened to me. Long ago, many people said to me, I either had to become a serious academic or a policymaker. You can't do both. You got to be one or the other. You can't do both. Can't do both. I was told that 100 times. Well, despite the naysayers, I somehow managed to become a professor and work at the White House and serve now as ambassador here in Russia. So when someone tells you that your dreams are impossible, just smile politely and keep forging your own way. Second, do not be afraid to fail. If you're not failing from time to time, you're not pushing yourself. Failure requires perseverance and a belief in oneself. You have to have those qualities first. But from failure comes moments of learning and truth. I know from personal experience. You see my resume. I got a fancy resume, right, John? I got a pretty fancy resume. I'm proud of it. Stanford, Rhodes Scholar, Oxford, National Collegiate Basketball Champion. You left that out. Yes, I am. Can you believe it? You shouldn't believe it. It was in England. A little easier to win there with Oxford. Professor, White House official, ambassador, and then you look at this guy and you say, man, he's had a smooth and lucky ride. And in part, it's right. I have. I've had a lot of lucky breaks, and that's part of life. But I've also had real moments of doubt and uncertainty. Back when I was finishing my PhD, I applied for 22 academic jobs. They're called assistant professor jobs all around America. And I went 0 for 22 that year. 0. I didn't even get an interview. Not even an interview. Can you imagine how jarring that was? I didn't even get an interview. There was one university that wanted to interview me, the University of California at Santa Cruz. And they wrote to me, but then when they found out I was living here in Moscow, they said, you know what, we can't afford the airfare, so we're not going to interview you. So I went 0 for 22. It took me years to recover from that setback. I had to retool, I had to learn things, and I had to write a lot to prove to the world that I was qualified to be a professor. But it all worked out. 3 years later, I applied to one job, and I got it at the greatest university on the planet, in my humble opinion, my alma mater, Stanford University. Third, embrace uncertainty, or at least get used to it. Right now, you are coping with a big uncertain transition in your life, and you can take comfort in thinking that you'll get through this period and soon land on more stable ground. But for me, and I suspect for a lot of other adults in the audience today, uncertainty doesn't really fade away. It keeps with you from this moment on. So get used to it and take advantage of it. In my own life, I know that uncertainty and being open to new possibilities has brought me amazing, unexpected opportunities. Again, a couple of decades ago, when I was closer to your age than now, I was pursuing an academic career as a specialist on Africa. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an Africanist. But there was a lot going on in this country. It was a revolutionary time, and I wanted to get back to the USSR, to witness it and just to feel what was going on. It wasn't a rational idea to abandon my career path, and I had no idea what I was going to do after my 1 year abroad in the Soviet Union. I absolutely had no plan. Drove my mother nuts. But that year, unexpectedly, had a profound impact on my career. I've been studying Russia and writing about political change ever since. I took a chance, and it had a big, big impact on my life. Or more recently, 6 years ago, a friend of mine called me up out of the blue and asked me if I wanted to become an advisor to a presidential candidate with a really odd name, who I'd never met and barely had even heard of. The smart money back then, if you recall, was that Senator Clinton was going to become our party's nominee. But I took a chance on this guy, Barack Hussein Obama, and 2 years later, I was working at the White House, having an experience of a lifetime. Developing the reset in relations with Russia, but also flying around on Air Force One, playing basketball with the President of the United States, and meeting some of the most talented and dedicated people I had ever known. I took a chance, and it had a really unexpected, incredible payoff. And still today, I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do when I become a professional person. Professor, policymaker, ambassador, I'm still trying to figure it all out. So, uncertainty can be hard on the nerves, but it also allows for unique experiences and opportunities. Finally, continue to invest and build upon the unique experiences developed here in Russia and at AAS. It's your competitive advantage. Take advantage of it. Use it, both for the benefit, for your own benefit, but for the benefit of our common humanity. In particular, I want to remind the Americans in the class of 2012 that you know more about Russia than 99.9% of other Americans. That's an empirical fact. Help our citizens back home have a better understanding of this country and these great people that live here. And I'm guessing the same might be true for others from other countries about thinking about the understanding of Russia back in their home countries. Help people in your countries understand Russia and Russians better. And to the Russians graduating today, I ask you to do the same. Help explain to your relatives, friends, and neighbors who Americans really are. The stereotypes that Americans and Russians still hold about each other have to be exposed. And no one is better qualified to do it than the AAS class of 2012. It'll be good for you, good for relations between our two countries, and good for the peace and security of the entire world. So, to the highly educated, internationally oriented, well-connected class of 2012, follow your passions, don't fear failure, embrace uncertainty, and help to foster understanding between our societies. We need you. Thank you, spasibo большое, and congratulations to the class of 2012.